Yo, yo, yo. What's poppin'? What's going on? Mic check, mic check, mic check. Man, my man Lon, first one in here. What's poppin'? Jehovah, what's good, bro? Warriors, 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 warriors. Was there ever any doubt? Your camera is stretched out, bro. All right, let's figure this out right now. What you mean by stretched out? Is it too far back? What you talking about, man? Talk to me. What you mean? Warriors come out to play. Yes, sir. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Let's get it, bro. Yo, everybody in the chat. Camera check, camera quality check, mic check. Let me know in the chat right now before we get started. Am I good? Wide I meant. What's going on with y'all boys, man? What's going on with y'all boys? What's cracking? Splash Buddy came through. Man, Buddy Healed. Yo, Buddy Healed eats free in the Bay for life. For life. Buddy Hield, I ain't gonna lie, Buddy Hield saved us. Buddy Hield came through because nobody was hitting shots. Nobody was hitting shots. Buddy Hield, 33 points, playoff career high, the best game of his career. He just had the best game of his career. Buddy Hield came through. How many made threes did he have? How many made threes did Buddy have? Where's my phone at? Let me check these stats real quick. Anyways, whatever. Man, bro. Buddy Hield, man. Yo, let me know in the chat. Camera quality good? Mic check good? Let me know, man. Um 9. All right, we good? I know my last stream I had no idea my audio was like distorted like that. I guess my mic wasn't all the way plugged in, so it sounded kind of weird. But anyways, yeah, man, let's get started, bro. We got some folks in here, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through. I appreciate y'all for coming to my show post game. I know it's a few other live streams out probably going right now, and y'all decided to come here and hang out with me, so I appreciate y'all, man. But yeah, man, let's turn this all the way up, bro. The Warriors come through in Game 7. I can't even lie and say I wasn't nervous. I was a little nervous, but at the end of the day, I was like, look, these dudes are built for this. They got the DNA of champions. Steph, Draymond, Jimmy, Steve Kerr. These dudes, a Game 7, they've been here before, man. This ain't nothing new. The Rockets, on the other hand, they ain't been here before. As you can see with their young dudes, first of all, shout out to Amin. He came to hoop. Amin was doing his thing. He's going to be a problem going forward. Amin is one of the most athletic dudes in the league. He might be the most at him and Kuminga are two of the best athletes in the league, man. So Amin, if that jumper ever comes around, he is going to be a problem for years to come, man, because if he adds the three ball, he's going to be scary. It's going to be hard to stop. But as you can see with the rest of the Rockets players, mainly the young players, them dudes were scared, bro. Sengun was out there, got locked up, clamps, couldn't do nothing. I seen, like, he had nothing. Draymond was sitting on his little spin move the whole game. Draymond's been sitting on that spin move the past few, like 4 games, probably. Locked him up. He couldn't do nothing with him. Jalen Green, where you at? Nowhere to be found. I think he hit like a few layups on putbacks. I ain't see him since. He ain't do much. These young dudes ain't built for this, man. Y'all going against champions in a Game 7, do or die, go home. They didn't have it. Especially like you would think they would have the advantage with the rest advantage. They're a younger team. These games have been every other game. These games have been every other day since game 3. So these are some quick turnarounds. And they're playing at home. Still got outplayed, outclassed, outsmarted, outskilled, out talented, out everything, man. But I want to say, man, shout out to Buddy Hield, man. I know I've been on Buddy Hield's helmet at times this season. He's driving me crazy. But there's two things there's two things about Buddy Hield that I really appreciate, bro. Before I get to that, Jeffrey Rosario, I appreciate the donation, brother. Thank you. Jeffrey said, Sangoon, Spittoon, Dylan's okay, I'm not gonna say that. Rockets, welcome to Cancun. I appreciate the donation. I don't know about that C word though, bro. But yeah, I was just talking about Sangoon. Who was I talking about? Damn, I lost my train of thought. This win got me geeked, bro. I'm lit right now, man. I forgot my train of thought, man. Anyways, let's just change the topic. So someone said Julius Randle is what scares me. We're going to get to the T-Wolves matchup a little bit later. Let's talk about this game real quick, and then we'll get into that. We'll delve into that matchup. Again, I appreciate y'all for coming through, man. Got the live show going. I'm seeing some familiar faces in here. Y'all showing love. I appreciate y'all. Lil Kenny, what's popping, bro? New Perspective, what's popping? DSGB, what's popping? Mike G, what's popping? Gatone, what's popping? RR Kane, what's popping? Yeah, man. So I got some notes for this game. First of all, GP2's out. And GP2's out, and he wasn't having a good series anyways. So I'm not going to say this was like a blessing in disguise because you want all hands on deck. You want all these dudes at your disposal. But GP2 was not having a good series. He was probably one of the Warriors' worst performing players. So him being out kind of kept Steve Kerr sticking to his guns with some other guys. Pods didn't play great. Pods and Moody were not hitting shots. They had so many opportunities for open threes. This game actually should have been like a blowout earlier. If Pods and Moody were hitting open threes that the Rockets conceded to them, this game would have been over with like way earlier. Because they was getting so many good looks and they just couldn't capitalize, man. You need those guys to hit threes. Like we got lucky that Buddy pretty much hit threes for all the role players. Like his output pretty much made up for the fact that Buddy and made up for the fact that Pods and Moody weren't hitting threes. But you can't expect Buddy to go off for 33 points every game. So Pods and Moody, man, y'all lucky we won this game because y'all would have been getting flamed because y'all was just so many open opportunities, man. GB2 had a couple good games. Yeah, he did. GB2 did have a couple good games. He saved them in game 3? I think it was game 3 where he saved them. I'm not denying GB2 had a couple good games. All I'm saying is just based off of like stats, plus minus, all that good stuff, he wasn't having a great series overall. After he had that breakout game where he was Steph Curry's main outlet on pick and roll finishes, the Rockets pretty much figured that out and shut it down. And he wasn't doing much of that the rest of the series. So I'm not taking anything away from GB2. I'm not throwing shade. All I'm saying is he was not the best option in this series. And Steve Kerr leans on him heavily because he trusts him. And with him being out, it allowed Steve Kerr to go to other options, mainly Buddy Hield playing such a big role, and it paid off. We got some donations in here, man. Invincible Iron Man, thank you for the donation, brother. Buddy Hield for the win. Shangoon got blocked like scam likely. That's a good one. I like that. Yeah, I took so much pleasure in Shangoon I think it was halfway through the fourth quarter. You just see his little head drop after every smoked hook shot over Draymond, after every crying for calls, and then once he didn't get it, he'll just put his head down just like, damn, it's over. Like he knew it was over. The Rockets, as the game went on, they knew it was over. They ran the gas. They couldn't do nothing. The Warriors' defense was locking up. They was playing a zone of their own. Gave the Rockets a little taste of their own medicine. And they stymied the Rockets' offense, man. They couldn't do nothing. Fred VanVleet was nowhere to be found. Thankfully, he did not show up to Game 7. He was someone put out an APB for Fred VanVleet. He wasn't there. Anyways, Loon Dog was locking up. Loon Dog came to play too. Loon Dog was playing some defense. Shout out to Loon Dog. But I do want to talk about let's just talk about JK real quick. So JK was the first sub off the bench. And I think Kerr was talking about in post game how he wanted to incorporate Kuminga more, get him on the court more. He said everything was on the table. Kuminga comes in, first sub off the bench. It wasn't a great sequence. Let's put it like that, man. He had a good move. I think he had like a pump fake up and under on Steven Adams. He had a great move to get a good look at the rim, point blank. He didn't make it. He smoked it, unfortunately. He also had another sequence where he was walking the ball up against the Rocket zone. I think he was trying to pass to either Draymond or Jimmy, but the spot on the court where they were at, it was two Rockets directly in the vicinity. Like, they weren't even open. Even if you make that pass, it's like there's nothing they could do with the ball. So JK walked the ball up. I don't know if he got flustered. I don't know if he just kind of just wanted to get the ball out of his hands quickly as possible. So I don't know what his thinking was, but he just hot potato passed it to, I believe it was Draymond. And then the Rockets just easy pick off, easy steal. Steve Kerr calls a timeout, and I believe from that point on, JK didn't sniff the court. He was done. So it was a rough sequence for JK. He actually did, I think he did come back in the game later. I did see him take a three, top key or top wing. He didn't make it. Everything he does is like magnified right now. It's tough. He's obviously, ever since the Jimmy Butler trade, obviously is making his fit not as, is making his talents not as needed, number one, his ability to get downhill, and is making his fit even more tough. So, and now his minutes are so inconsistent and just fluctuate in fluctuation that when he does get on the court, he doesn't have rhythm. He's trying not to make a mistake. These are high intensity games. You're playing against one of the best defenses in the league. It's a lot. It's a lot he's trying to process. You're on a road in a game 7. You're out there against a zone defense. You're trying to make reads. Things are happening, and if you make one mistake, you're probably going to hit the bench. And it's tough, man. It's not the greatest situation for Kuminga, man. You know, so I do feel a little bad for him, but at the same time, there's just no margin for error, and you know, unfortunately, and luckily the Warriors were able to pull it off regardless of the Kuminga situation. I do think he'll be a better fit for the T-Wolves series. I do foresee him getting more minutes in the next round. We're going to get to the T-Wolves series soon, but we got to hit on a few points for this game. Shogo, what's up, bro? Thank you for the donation, brother. He said, we still here. Go Warriors. Let's go, man. I ain't going to lie, man. How many of y'all was nervous, bro? How many of y'all was nervous? I was definitely nervous. If you're not nervous about your team in a game 7, you're just lying, bro. Because we all know, a game 7 is one game. Anything can happen. Any team could be any team. If the other team's hot from 3 that day, you're going home. If the refs is on some bull, you're probably going home. If you're just not at the top of your game, if dudes is just not hitting shots, Moody Pods wasn't hitting shots. Luckily, Buddy Hield covered for them. But if Buddy Hield was just having like a regular Buddy Hield game, this game is going down to the wire. Now all of a sudden, a play here goes the Rockets' way, a play there goes the Rockets' way. You might lose. Steph didn't have the greatest game offensively. What did he finish with? 22 points? He didn't have the greatest game offensively, but he was dominant in every other aspect of the game. Steph Curry was everywhere defensively. He was reading the Rockets' offense like Deion Sanders, bro. Like he was everywhere. It's crazy, man. Like Steph Curry, it's funny because there's so many people hate watching this game. LeBron stands, Steph Curry haters. They were hate watching this game, and they saw Steph. I think he had like 0 points at the end of the first quarter. They were like, "Oh, Steph, he's about to choke this game 7." It was already getting a little pitchforks out. It was already getting ready to slander this man. And you know what? His shot wasn't really going down to start the game. So he found other ways to contribute. Steph's not a one-trick pony. He's not just out there as like a three-point specialist running around like Kyle Korver, man. Like he's an all-around player. He's one of the greatest players of all time. When his shot wasn't going down, he was on the boards getting rebounds. I think he had like 9 rebounds. He was playmaking. He's drawing double teams and triple teams, getting his teammates involved. Even if he doesn't get the actual assist and get credit for the assist, him being double team is opening up the game for all his teammates, regardless of whether he gets the assist or not. Those things don't always go on a stat sheet. Sometimes it's just in a plus minus. But Steph Curry was amazing, man. His defense was insane. They tried to get him on a few switches. He locked up Jabari Smith on a switch. Jabari Smith is like 6'10", by the way. Locked him up. It was a few other plays where Dylan Brooks had him on a switch. Dylan Brooks with that little mid-range, little whatever he calls it, that thing was going down a few times, whatever. But you'll live with that. If Dylan Brooks is going to shoot like a step back, like 17-footer, contested, and he makes it, hey, man, it is what it is. Shout out to Endless with the donation. I appreciate you, bro. Let's effing go. Game 7, buddy. Game 7, buddy. Buddy Hield eats free in the Bay for life, man. I don't care what he does the rest of this. I don't care what he... Actually, I do care. I care what he does the rest of the playoffs. But for now, Buddy Hield is already... Man, what can I say, man? He literally saved the Warriors, bro. He saved the Warriors. I can't slander that man. I can't slander Buddy no more, man. Like, it's not like I was overly slandering him, but he just frustrated the hell out of me. But it's games like this is why you don't completely bench Buddy. Even when I was slandering him, I always stuck by the thought, even though, he's been inconsistent, you can't just outright bench him, because if he does have those games where he's hitting threes, the Warriors are unbeatable. He had that game in Game 7. When Buddy's hitting threes, the Warriors are near unbeatable because they're getting that contribution from a third party. They're getting they got Buddy Hield basically transforming into Klay Thompson this game. So you got Steph, you got Jimmy, and then Buddy transforms into Klay Thompson every now and then. I'm not saying he's Klay Thompson, but every now and then he's liable to turn into Klay Thompson, and you just might get into Game 7, do or die. So shout out to Buddy, man. Yeah, man, Buddy earned that Alfred status, man. Steph is Batman, Jimmy Butler's Robin, Buddy Hield's Alfred. Yeah, man, what y'all talking about up in here? Yeah, y'all saying y'all was nervous. I mean, look, bro, it's no shame in being nervous in a Game 7. Definitely no shame. Steph had 10 boards. Yeah, Steph is everywhere, man. That's what an all-around player does. That's what an all-time great does. When the shot's not going down, he's not gonna just keep chucking and then he's not contributing anything else. He's gonna get on the boards. He's gonna be in the passing lanes. He's gonna be playing stout defense on switches. Teams always try to pick on Steph. It never works. Never works. Even when he was even back in the earlier stages of the dynasty, when he was way more slimmer, where he was probably running 185. These days, Steph's probably around 200. But back in his earlier years, in his mid to late 20s, he was running 185, 185 pounds. Teams try to get him on switches. LeBron tried to get him on switches. It never really worked. It's just okay, you'll catch him, you'll get him every now and then, you'll get a bucket on him because he's 6'2". But if you look at the stats, it doesn't really work. I think LeBron shot 37% from the field against Steph Curry as a primary defender in those earlier series. It never worked. Steph is an underrated defender, man. People always try to just discredit him by saying, "Oh, he's the greatest shooter of all time." It's that's not. Is that all? You sure? He's the greatest offensive engine of all time, number one. By that I mean he's the greatest offensive player too. But the greatest offensive engine, what I mean by that is When you got Steph out there, like he can carry an offense better than anybody. He can play. He can amplify role players better than anybody, just with his presence. It's not necessarily has to be a direct assist. Just him being on the court amplifies teammates, man. These dudes are getting wide open looks. Teams are willing to live with half decent shooters getting wide open looks if it means Steph's not taking a shot. The Rockets were living with Moody, who's like a career 37% 3-point shooter. They're living with Pod shooting, who's again a career 37% 3-point shooter. Yeah, they're young dudes. Yeah, they haven't proven in the playoffs yet, but for their career, they are. I mean, they're decent shooters according to their percentages. And these dudes are getting wide open looks because why? Because the Rockets got to give up something. If they're selling out, if they're selling out on Steph, they got to give up something else. So the Warriors did a lot better against the Rocket zone this game. Steven Adams didn't seem like he had that much of an impact. The Warriors played a lot better against it. They got Jimmy Butler in the middle of the court. They got the ball in his hands, allowed him to make plays. He was taking that midi when needed, which is like a great fallback for the Warriors offense. Like Jimmy Butler can get to that midi anytime he wants, really. He doesn't really take it as much as he probably should, but if he really wants to, he can get to that midi anytime he wants. And he's comfortable taking it out like deep for deep twos. Like all the way out to the up until the 3-point line. He's capable and comfortable taking that contested pull up midi. So they got Jimmy in the middle of the court more, in the middle of the floor. He was playmaking. The threat of his mid range had made the Rockets have to come up on it, and it created seams for the Warriors to swing the ball around, and they just played a lot better against the Rocket zone. Steven Adams didn't have much of an impact. I didn't really notice him on the court, honestly. I think he had like one offensive rebound, and maybe one or two, but he didn't really do much. He was a -9 for the game. So thankfully, it took them 7 games to do it, but they finally figured out the Steven Adams zone defense conundrum, but they got it done. Yeah, what y'all talking about? Great offensive engines, Curry and Nash. Yeah, man, Nash is up there too. One of the greatest offensive engines of all time is definitely Steve Nash is in that conversation, man. Yeah, man, this game we got some folks in here, man. We got some folks in here, man. I appreciate all y'all, bro. Let's see what we talking about. Steph was definitely. As the game went on, Steph was just getting loose. He was getting real comfortable, especially getting to the rim against the Rockets' bigger wings. Against Jabari, Steph seemed to particularly like going at Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith is a good defender. He has length. He's athletic. He's a pretty solid defender. But for whatever reason, Steph was food. Steph was able to get him shifting a little bit defensively, and then attack his off foot as he got him shifting. Got to the rim. He was just abusing those the bigger wings. Dylan Brooks couldn't do nothing with him. Dylan Brooks can never guard Steph. He was literally just out there to be a goon and just foul. So all he do was hack, man. He's that dude on a wreck that's just fouling all game. Do you think the Lakers would have been easier than the Timberwolves? Absolutely. The Lakers would have been a way easier matchup. I was praying the Lakers came back and won that series. Way easier matchup. The Lakers, their team, their roster's incomplete. They made that trade for Luka because they had to make it. But they didn't. In the second trade they tried to make for a big man, they rescinded it because they got spooked off his medical records was it Mark Williams? They tried to send a rookie shooter, Dalton Connect, for Mark Williams, who's like the 7'2" big man. And that's honestly, that rescinding that trade is what exposed the roster in the playoffs. They have no big man. The Lakers basically go small the whole game. They start Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes plays like 5 minutes, and they quick hook. He's out of the game. And then they go with Dorian Finney-Smith at center. That would have been a way easier matchup because it would have allowed the Warriors. It would have allowed the Warriors to comfortably play small with Draymond at the center. If these dudes are playing Dorian Finney-Smith at center, it's just the Warriors are going to be very easy. The Warriors are very easily going to be able to play their play style in terms of Draymond at center playing small. And the Lakers are just simply not a good small ball team. They were going small because they had no other choice. Because all of their big man options were trash. They had Jackson Hayes, who's trash. They picked up Alex Len, who's trash. And then I think they had Maxi Kleber, who tried to come back from an injury like the last game, but he's been out with he's coming off of surgery. He didn't do nothing for him. Their roster was incomplete. It was a lot of LeBron as the main backline defender, 40-year-old man trying to backline the defense. That's not gonna work. They have no answers in terms of point of attack for Steph or Jimmy. So who are they gonna put on Steph? Especially look at that starting lineup. Who's defending Steph in that starting lineup? They start Luka, Hachimura, Austin Reeves, LeBron, and Jackson Hayes. Who's guarding Steph Curry? Who's guarding Jimmy Butler? They have nobody for either one of them, and they have no rim deterrent in the paint. Once those point of attack defenders get blown by, they have their defense is buns. That would have been a way easier matchup for the Warriors. They would have played. They would have been able to impose their will offensively fairly easy. And the Warriors have personnel for the Lakers. They have personnel. They could put Draymond on LeBron. They could put Jimmy on Luka. They could put Pods on Reeves and live with that. They also have GB2 off the bench for Reeves. They have Kuminga off the bench, who I think guards Kuminga guards Luka relatively okay. In the matchups where the Warriors played the Mavs, Kuminga wasn't getting destroyed. I mean, there was one game where Luka went crazy and dropped 40-some points. He was destroying everybody. He was destroying Wiggins too. He was destroying Kuminga. But overall, Kuminga does okay. He's an option. So the Warriors have way more defensive matchups for the Lakers than the Lakers would have had for the Warriors. That would have been a cakewalk series. But the T-Wolves, on the other hand, they do have the T-Wolves aren't as good of a defense as the Rockets. And that's the biggest thing that you guys are going to see, the adjustment, because this Rockets defense is probably the best. I mean, Rockets and OKC got the two best defenses in the league, I believe. So going from elite defense to, okay defense, it's going to be a huge difference. The T-Wolves can't guard the Warriors like the Rockets were doing. They don't have the personnel. They don't have an Amin Thompson. Now, they do have McDaniels, who's a good defender. He's not as good as Amin Thompson. And then behind Jaden McDaniels, they don't have these other dudes like Amin has. Like the Rockets also had, besides the men, they had Dylan Brooks, they had Jabari Smith, they had Tari Eason. They just had so many defenders. Fred Van Vliet's a solid defender. He's small, but he's stout. He can get up into you. He's pesky. He's annoying. He can play some defense. Steven Adams in the paint, it was kind of hard to score over him at times. The T-Wolves don't really got that. They got Jaden McDaniels at point of attack. They got Anthony Edwards, who's also good, and then they got Gobert in the paint. Besides that, everybody else on their roster is pretty much food. DiVincenzo's a good team defender. Naz Reid is a solid team defender. You can pick on Naz a little bit. Sometimes his lateral quickness can get exposed. But I think overall he's a solid team defender because he has size, he has length. He's like 6'10", long wingspan. Yeah, he's athletic. So this T-Wolves matchup, I think it's gonna go long. The T-Wolves have the rest advantage. Is my mic quality good, y'all? Mic sounds good? Give me a yes in the chat if the mic sounds good. Nikolai Alexander, yeah, Na is good too. I forgot about him. Yeah, Na's a good defender. So the T-Wolves got some personnel. Their personnel is just not as formidable as the Rockets. The Rockets had an army of defenders at every position essentially, and it was just hard to find seams against the Rockets. So the T-Wolves, they do have two good point of attack defenders in Edwards and McDaniels, but they're starting Conley. Conley's like an okay team defender. He's just super smart. He's been in the league for 16, 17 years. He's just extremely smart. He can play a role, a cog defensively, but he's not a lockdown defender. He's 37 years old. They also have, who else do they have? Oh, they got Randall. Randall can be taken advantage of. I don't look at Randall as a good defender. He's okay. He can hold up on switches sometimes. he's hit or miss. The biggest thing with the T Wolves is they have Jaden McDaniels as their point of attack, the 6'10" wing, and they funnel dudes to Gobert in the paint, and he cleans up. That's what they're gonna try to do. They're gonna try to run Steph off the 3-point line and funnel him to Gobert and force him to finish over Gobert. So the Warriors gotta figure out how they're gonna combat that. Definitely try to get Gobert on switches. The T Wolves are not going to try to concede that. They're not going to live with Gobert guarding Steph on switches. Obviously, they're probably going to try to blitz and then have Gobert scram back. They're going to, when the Warriors try to do a pick and roll and involve Gobert and try to get the switch, the T Wolves are probably going to come with the blitz and then have Gobert try to scram back to his man. So we'll see if that's enough time for Steph to take advantage of that and get some quick shots off and make him pay. Because I don't know if he could run that scram defense with Gobert. I don't think he's fast enough mobility wise for you to get away with that. They have a superstar though. Yeah, yeah. The biggest difference between the T Wolves and the Rockets is the fact that they have a legit superstar in Anthony Edwards. I was strictly talking about defense up until this point, but offensively, the point where the Warriors are gonna have some problems, they don't have a good matchup for Edwards. The Warriors don't really have anybody for Edwards. Jimmy can't guard him. Moody can't guard him. Pods can't guard him. GP2 can't guard him. Kuminga has the profile that you would hope can match up with him, but Kuminga's not gonna be playing. Edwards is going to be playing like 40-plus minutes a game. Like, Kuminga's not going to be on a court. Kuminga's not going to be on a court for 40-plus minutes a game, bro. Like, it's just not going to happen. So, they're going to have to figure out this Edwards situation because he is definitely a matchup problem. He's one of the best shooters in the league, so they have to come up. They can't go under on screens. They have to come up on screens. And when you go over on screens, that gives him an opportunity to get downhill. And he has a midi pull-up, or he can just get straight to the rim. He's extremely athletic. Edwards is going to be tough, man. He's going to be tough. And then if you commit to him on a drive, then he has Gobert for the lob. He has McDaniels to kick out to in a corner, stretching the floor. You also have Randall that can shoot. Randall can also attack closeouts. Even if Randall doesn't take the three, if the defender closes out, he can take the pump fake and he can attack the closeout, and Randall can get to the rim, and he can cause problems as like a secondary creator off of Edwards' advantages. So it's a lot the Warriors are gonna have to. It's a lot the Warriors are gonna have to account for. 1v1 we can't guard Ant, but we got physical layers defensively. Yeah, the Warriors can't guard Ant 1v1, but they do have a great defensive scheme and a defensive game plan with Draymond line back and everything. So we'll see which team can impose their will better, Ant Edwards or the Warriors. I think the Warriors are the better defensive team. I think in terms of offense, I think it's a wash. I think the T-Wolves can probably have their moments where they go off and the Warriors can't stop him because Edwards is just a problem. When Edwards is getting loose and he's kicking out to three-point shooters, he's throwing lobs to Gobert. It's hard to stop their offense, man. DiVincenzo coming off the bench, just knocking down threes. Naz Reid transforming into prime KD against the Warriors, knocking down threes, getting to the rim. It's a lot, man. Yeah. Funnel Ant to Dre, Jimmy, and Loon. It's easier said than done, man. He has a pull-up. He can get to that midi. He's not afraid to take that. I mean, I think Loon is going to be food at the rim for Edwards. Looney has nowhere near the athleticism or reaction time to deal with Edwards getting downhill. I think it's going to come down to whether Draymond can contain Ant Edwards getting downhill, and also can the Warriors' backline defense rotate over and help box out Gobert when Draymond brings the help. Because Draymond can leave Gobert to come up on Edwards, and I think they'll be fine. But then their rotations have to be crisp. Like, you have to help the helper. You gotta come in and wall off Gobert. He's not quite Steven Adams level in terms of like an offensive rebounder, but he will definitely make his presence felt. He's a good offensive rebounder. It's one of the few things this is probably the only thing he can do offensively is offensive rebound and sometimes catch a lob. But he will definitely hurt you. He will definitely hurt you. Gonna have to live with giving up like 40 something to Ant. Yeah, Ant is definitely gonna have some games where he's dropping 40 points, bro. Like that's just what it is, man. He has a great one thing about Edwards, he has a great blend of athleticism and shooting. He led the league in threes this year. And he's also one of the most athletic players in the league. We haven't seen a blend of athleticism and shooting like that since what, man? Like Vince Carter, like Tracy McGrady. Like Ant Edwards is like he's basically like modern Vince Carter with probably a little more juice on ball in terms of like with the ball in his hands. Which is kind of crazy to say. Vince Carter was obviously like a great player. Ant Edwards is basically Vince Carter with more juice on ball. I think he has more upside than what Vince Carter ultimately became at his peak as well. But yeah, man, this is gonna be the T Wolves are gonna be a tough challenge for the Warriors. I can see it going like I hate to say this, but I can see that one going 7 as well. The Warriors like I don't see it going any less than 6, and I can see it very possibly going 7. We don't want to obviously don't want it to go 7 because you're playing with fire at that point. The Warriors came out of this game 7, but I'm telling you, man, anything happen in a game 7, anything can happen in a game 7, bro. If the other team is just hot that night and they're just hitting threes and they can't miss, you're done. The T-Wolves are very capable of that. They have games where McDaniels can't miss, Nas Reed can't miss, Randall's knocking down threes, Edwards is taking like 12, 13 threes, knocking down like 7 or 8 of them. He's very capable of that. DiVincenzo is a great three-point shooter. They have a lot of dudes that can hit shots. The Warriors are going to have to, their rotations are going to have to be a lot more tighter. There's not as many dudes to help to sag off of and clog the paint like the Rockets. They was sagging off of Amen Thompson a lot. They was sagging off of Adams a lot. They sagged off Jabari Smith, even though he made him pay. That wasn't a good idea. But they tried to sag off Jabari Smith. They sagged off Dylan Brooks at times, and he made him pay. There's just not as many places to sag off with the T Wolves. Besides Rudy Gobert in the paint, almost everybody in the rotation can hit a three besides Rudy Gobert. Conley, Edwards, McDaniels, Randall, Nikolai Alexander-Walker, Dante DiVincenzo, Nas Reed. Yeah, they only play 8 dudes. They play DiVincenzo, Nikolai Alexander-Walker, and Nas Reed off the bench. That's their 3 dudes. 1 guard, 1 wing, 1 big. Everybody can hit a three besides Gobert. So they're going to be tough to guard. Yeah, man. Yeah, Ant's going to be a problem, bro. Ant going to have to get his in blood. Yeah, yeah, Ant is he's going to be tough. And he's taken out some legends already. He's beaten LeBron. He's beaten Luka, obviously. He's beaten KD. He beat Jokic too, right? Yeah, like he's just like marking off legends one by one. And now he's looking at Steph and he's like, you next. So Steph ain't going out like that. He ain't going out like that. It ain't happening. Ain't gonna have to keep that little list. He gonna have to save that because he ain't marking off Steph, man. We gonna have ourselves a great series, though. I'm excited for this one. It's not gonna be as tight defensively in terms of like the thing that makes me most anxious is when the other team just has so many the defensive personnel. They have so many dudes that can cover ground and recover defensively. That's the Rockets, man. Like it was so hard to get open shots against these dudes. Steph had to fight for a lot. Like most of his offense, he had to fight for. Like, yeah, he gets loose because he's Steph, but Steph was working, man. The Rockets were working Steph. He's not gonna have to work as hard to get open shots against the T-Wolves. He's just not. And Gobert is not as mobile. I don't think he's as mobile as Sengun in terms of guarding Yeah, he might be. I don't know. I mean, Gobert's obviously like a superior rim protector. He's one of the best rim protectors. But in terms of mobility, is he more mobile than Sengun? Y'all would say probably. Just more experience and whatnot. But anyways, man, TJD played good against Wolves. Yeah, bro. I mean, look, I know we like to harp on like the regular season series beating the Wolves. That's nice, but you got to kind of throw that out, man. Like this is a whole new series. We haven't played them. I don't. Did we play them with Jimmy in a fold? We haven't. It's a whole new series, bro. Whole new series, man. I wouldn't just chalk this up as like, oh, they won 3-1 regular season. They're gonna automatically win a series. It's gonna be a good series. It can go either way. Obviously, I got the Warriors. I think the Warriors are gonna be favored. The T Wolves do have home court, so that's also something to keep in mind. But I think the Warriors can pull this off. I think they get it done in 6. Hopefully it doesn't go 7, but whether it goes 6 or 7, I got the Warriors winning this game, winning this series. And yeah, man, the Warriors' lack of spacing almost doomed them against the Rockets. The Warriors roster is also, I would say, incomplete, like the Lakers. After the Warriors made the trade for Jimmy Butler, they did a 4-for-1 trade, so 4 players out, Jimmy Butler in, and they didn't make another trade to complement that, to kind of balance out the roster after acquiring Jimmy. The Warriors roster I will call incomplete as well because they don't have enough spacing. They don't have enough spacing to surround Steph, Jimmy, Draymond. Post turning into a guy that you can play. Did Post didn't even play this game, huh? I don't think I saw Post this game. I don't think he played. But regardless of that, Post working out, 52nd pick in the second round, turning himself into like a stretch 5. That's great. Buddy Hield having his games like this, chipping in, turning to Klay Thompson temporarily for certain games, that's great too. But overall, when you look at the roster from top to bottom, they don't have enough three-point shooting. It was on display tonight. Pods, how many open threes did he get? He had at least like 6 or 7 open looks where it's just like, bro, you're wide open. You got to hit that. And he wasn't hitting them. Moody, open looks. And his 3 is looking a little concerning. Like some of it, his misses aren't even close. They're either bricks or they're just like, it's a little concerning, man. Moody, he got to get it together, brother. Get it together, man. But yeah, need to draft front court. Yeah, the Warriors are going to have the 41st overall draft pick this year. They don't have a first round pick. They traded it for the Miami Heat. They traded it to the Miami Heat for Jimmy Butler in that Jimmy Butler trade. So no first round pick for the Warriors. So they're going to have to find another gem in the second round. But Mike Dunleavy has been great at finding. He's been great at finding talent at their with what he has in the draft. He found Pods. He got Pods at pick number 19. Great value. Pods is starting in the playoff games, and he's been effective. Like obviously he's not. He's still a young dude. He didn't have a great game this year. This game, but he's still starting games. He's generally been a positive. That's a home run pick with the 19th pick. He wasn't even a lottery pick, and he's contributing this much. You got TJD, who's not in the rotation right now, but he was the 57th pick. The fact that he made the roster and he gets spot minutes, that's already a win. You're getting a dude that can contribute with a pick where dudes are pretty much, you're either going to be in you're either going to the G League or you're going overseas. Like picks in the 50s in the second round, bro. It's hard for them to make the roster. They're very fringe, very, very fringe players. They're more than likely G League players or overseas players. But the fact that Trace is on this roster, he made the roster, he gives them something every now and then. You know, he's solid. He does have NBA traits. You know, he has the NBA athleticism. He has, he can do some stuff. So I think I will consider that pick a good pick by Mike Dunleavy. Then you got Quentin Post last season. He had drafted 52nd overall. You can't say anything but home run. Like getting the value you get out of Quentin Post, he's getting playoff minutes. He's a 52nd pick getting playoff minutes. That speaks for itself. Home run pick by Mike Dunleavy. So Mike Dunleavy, man, has he had a bad draft pick yet? I don't think so. He's like 3 for 3 or 4 for 4. Mike Dunleavy's been money, bro, in a draft. So I think he's gonna do it again this year. They have the 41st pick. I'm not sure. I haven't been keeping up with the draft. I'm not really sure how the talent level is like at the end of the first round. If there's like you can find like first round talent in the early second round picks. I'm not sure. Haven't really dove into the draft this season, but I'm sure Mike Dunleavy's gonna figure something out. Guy Santos was a Bob Myers pick. So Bob Myers whiffed on a lot of draft picks, especially as of late. But Guy Santos was a good find for him in the second round. They developed him in the G League, and he's solid. Yeah, cousin Kyle was popping. Bree was popping. KG was popping. What's going on, y'all? JS Win, what's good, bro? Donnie Warren, what's popping, bro? Step Show family, what's good, bro? Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for coming through to the live show, man. If y'all haven't already, like the video. It means a lot. It helps the channel. So yeah, man, if you're having a good time with me, bro, just like the video, man. It means a lot. Bob missed on Sangoon, Hallie, and so much more. Yeah, I've been harping on the draft the past few streams, so I'm not really trying to go into depth on that this time. But yeah, he definitely whiffed on those lottery picks for sure. Yeah. So yeah, we got what y'all want to talk about, man? Throw out some topics in the chat. Also, let me know where everybody's from. Everybody put where y'all from in the chat. I want to see where everybody's from, man. If we got some overseas people, man, let me know. I want to see everything, bro. Yeah, man. So we got yeah, Jimmy had an okay game. Jimmy Butler, he had an okay game. He hit some timely shots. He hit some very well timed middies and 3 pointers. He had a few 3 pointers. He had like a bailout 3 pointer he hit over Sangoon that just demoralized him. Sangoon just dropped his head immediately. He was just like, damn. He knew what's up. Lucky Jelly from the Bay Area. That's what's up, bro. JS Win from Oakland. Donnie from Mississippi, bro. That's what's up, man. I love it. I love it. But yeah, so it's like basically no rest time right now. It's only like one off day. I believe it's only one off day. So the Warriors are getting right back to it in Minnesota in a few days. Basically no rest. Meanwhile, the T-Wolves have been resting up, waiting for him from Nashville. That's what's up, man. Yeah, Jimmy had a good game. He didn't have like a crazy insane game, but he had a pretty steady game, very timely shots. He kept the Warriors afloat at times where they needed a bucket badly. He was definitely there to demoralize the Rockets and hit some big buckets. So shout out to Jimmy. Wasn't the flashiest of games, but he got it done. We got folks from South Carolina. That's what's up, man. Ronnie Hogan, Richmond, California. You from the rich, bro. That's what's up, man. Shout out to you. Got to watch Nas read mid-range shot. Atlanta. That's what's up. Yeah, man. But yeah. Y'all got any topics to put in the chat, man? Let's get into it, bro. Let's get into it. I will say this. Shout out, the Rockets were they're a good young up and coming team, man. Like I had the Warriors in 6. So even before the series started, I by no means considered this to be like a cakewalk. I wasn't talking crazy like this finna be a breeze. I knew it was gonna be a well fought series. And the Rockets, they pushed it to 7. So that goes to say, like, hey, this series is pretty close. They very easily could have won, which is like, it's hard to admit that, but like they very easily could have won. a few shots go their way in this game, a few more calls go their way in that game, they very easily could have won this game, bro. So shout out to the Rockets. They're a young team, up and coming. They got a pretty bright future. I think they got to get like a first option though. They got to go after KD. They got to do something because Jalen Green being their best perimeter scorer that ain't gonna work, man. He's basically Jordan Clarkson. He's like a super sub volume scorer. He's not no star. He ain't no star, man. If your offense is relying on Jalen Green as your go-to perimeter scorer, you're done. You're just not gonna win a series, bro. You're not gonna beat good teams with Jalen Green as your best offensive player on the perimeter. Do you give the Nuggets a shot against the Thunder? I do. I think the Nuggets got a chance. OKC is gonna be heavily favored, and you can debate who has the best player in that series. I think Jokic is the best player in the league right now currently. I think in a series though, I think in a head-to-head series, I think Steph is capable of being the best player in a series. But I just think in terms of just regular season plus production and all that stuff, I'll give it to Jokic. He's the younger player. He's capable of like taking more of a load on throughout the regular season. I'll give him that. I do think but once you get into like head-to-head series, best of sevens, I think Steph it's just hard to outplay Steph. It's hard for me to consider somebody else a better player than Steph in a 7-game series. But based off this regular season and production wise, I will say Jokic is probably the best player in the league right now currently. And him and Shea are the two MVP favorites. So I think it's gonna be a good series. Actually, I think it's gonna go 6 at least. I don't think the Rockets are just gonna steamroll. I don't think the Thunder are just gonna steamroll the Nuggets. I think Jokic is gonna have his way. He's gonna have some fun with who is it? Hardenstein. Hardenstein can't guard Jokic. So Chet Holmgren can't guard Jokic. He's gonna get his for sure. So I think that's gonna be a good series. I just don't want OKC to like steamroll and win in 5. Like they already swept the first round against Memphis. We can't have these dudes just like waiting for us in a Western Conference Finals just with all this rest. Like obviously they're going to be more well rested regardless. They're the younger team. I think their team's average age is like 23 years old. It's insane. Their team is so young, man. So the rest advantage stuff is kind of they're gonna be the more rested, more active team no matter what. Like their average age is ridiculously low. A bunch of young dudes that can hoop. Shea is a problem. I want to see how Shea looks against. I want to see how Shea looks against like a legit like threat. Let's see how he looks like the Memphis Grizzlies. They got Ja, they got Bane, they got Jaren Jackson, but I don't really consider them like a legit like opponent. So we're gonna see how SGA does against the Nuggets, who their defense has been inconsistent this season. But when push comes to shove, they can lock up. They can they can do enough defensively to put a game plan together and do their thing defensively. Clippers lost in the first round. I'm happy the Clippers and Nuggets played each other in the first round because those are two teams that I think are like not. I'm not gonna include OKC because they're the 1 seed. Obviously, they're a bad matchup for everybody, but I feel like the two teams after OKC, where I would consider probably the worst matchup for the Warriors is the Clippers and the Nuggets. So they played each other obviously in the first round, which means the Warriors only have to play one of them to get through the Western Conference, which is great. Because I don't like that Clippers matchup. Yeah, they got Harden. He's a choke artist. Kawhi, you never know if he's gonna be able to get through a full series. I just don't like that matchup. They got Ty Lue as their coach. He has experience guarding defensive game plans against the Warriors. Not a fan of that matchup. Jokic obviously is a matchup problem of his own. I think Draymond guards Jokic as well as anybody. But outside of Draymond, Jokic will just have his way with everybody else on the Warriors. No question. So I don't like that matchup either. But yeah, man. The Pacers beat the Cavs in game 1. That's kind of crazy. Wasn't expecting that. Yeah, man. I think the Celtics are probably going to be the team that gets out of the East. And it's going to come down. I think it's going to be Warriors, OKC in the Western Conference Finals. I'm rocking with the Warriors. It's going to be tough, but I'm rocking with the Warriors. And I think it's going to play out with the Warriors-Celtics rematch. That's projecting way ahead. The Warriors got a lot of work to do. They barely escaped the first round by the skin of their teeth. This T-Wolves team is going to be tough as well. So they got a lot of work to do. But we're going to see how it goes, man. Y'all got any topics in the chat? By the way, this game 7 kind of proved like the Rockets. They had their moments where they looked like a young, inexperienced team, but for the most part, they held their own. They were pretty well coached, and they didn't make as many mistakes as I was expecting. I was expecting a lot more mistakes. I was expecting them to get stymied a lot more, but for the most part, they held their own. But this game 7, you can tell the difference in experience. The Warriors didn't panic. The Rockets were definitely flustered, especially when late in the fourth, when they weren't getting the calls, when they weren't like the refs were pretty good this game. Shout out to the refs, they were pretty good this game. Some of those bull calls that they were getting, the BS calls, the whistle wasn't getting blown. Sengun was like demoralized that he wasn't getting those BS calls. And every time he didn't get a call, he just put his head down and just strutted back on defense. He like they were done, bro. The Warriors took their spirit in that fourth quarter. Steph was getting loose. They knew it was coming. It was curtain call. Think the physicality of this series will carry over into the next series. I think the Rockets definitely the fact that the Warriors messed around and allowed this series to go 7. That's gonna bite them in the ass at some point in the playoffs. Because you got to think, the Warriors exerted so much energy after the Jimmy Butler trade to play catch up. They were 1 game under 500 before the trade, and they had to basically not play off rotations, but they were playing their stars way more minutes. They weren't able to rest back to backs. Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, especially, like the toll that was put on them down a stretch of the regular season was way more than you would usually see Steve Kerr do. But they had no choice to play catch up. They had to avoid the play-in, and they still ended up in the play-in. That's the crazy part. They still ended up in the play-in. But the toll that was put on them to play catch up, then they played the extra play-in game, which is, it's still an extra game. That's after a long 82 game season, played an extra game, which is basically a playoff game. So you got playoff intensity, physicality, all that stuff. So then the Warriors go up 3-1 against the Rockets. They had an opportunity. They had 2 opportunities to close out the series and get rest. Smoked both those opportunities. Allowed a game 7. So now you're playing 2 extra games against like a tough physical team, one of the best defenses in the league, and the games were every other day. After game 3, the games were every other day up until game 7. So from game 4 to game 7, the games were every other day. And then, since the series went 7 and the T-Wolves have been waiting, that game 1 is off a one-off day. So it's right. So it's like there's no rest in between these series. They just got to keep going. So the T-Wolves off rip have the advantage. They have home court and they have the rest advantage. And they're the younger team. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors lose game 1 against the T-Wolves, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised. It's a tough turnaround, man. It's going to be tough. The Warriors, if they do drop game 1, they just have to make sure they win game 2 and go back to the Bay tied 1-1 with home court. So to answer your question, yes, this series, the physicality of this series, the length of this series is definitely going to affect them in the next series, in round 2. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, man. What you think if we switch Green for JK? What would the team be like? What do you mean? Do you mean like if we bench Draymond and started Kuminga? Is that what you're trying to say? I mean, if that's your question, I think that would not the Warriors would be unserious. Who's playing deep? Like who's playing defense if you take out Draymond? Draymond struggled offensively. He had a good game. He had a good game seven in terms of scoring, but for the most part, Draymond struggled offensively. But defensively, he was invaluable. When Draymond wasn't out there, Sengun was basically just ragdolling everybody. He was having his way. He was. It's just the Warriors couldn't guard Sengun unless Draymond was on him. Was on the court at least. So you put Kuminga out there. Will they be able to score more? I don't even know if you can say that because Draymond helps the offense by his playmaking and his synergy with Steph. It doesn't show up on a stat sheet. It might show up as an assist, but that his synergy with Steph to get Steph going, just him helping Steph score easier makes the offense better versus Kuminga is just scoring more points than Draymond, if that makes sense. But Draymond also, obviously, his offense does hurt the Warriors as well. So it's kind of like a balancing act. But I think overall, having Draymond out there is more valuable offensively than having Kuminga out there offensively. And then defensively, it's not even close. So, and the Warriors wouldn't be able to play these lineups, small ball lineups with Kuminga out there. Like Kuminga is not boxing out like Draymond. He's not gonna be able to wall off Sengun and Adams from grabbing boards. Like they're just gonna move him out the way and just grab the rebound. So I don't like Kuminga's nowhere near as valuable of a player as Draymond is, if that's what you're asking. Clint Capella or Jakob Pertl to Warriors? Mm, man, give me Steven Adams. Give me Steven Adams. But out of those two, I don't know. Jalen Green for JK. Eh, I mean, I guess, but give me Kobe. I'll take Kobe White because Kobe White he does a lot of that stuff Jalen Green does, but he's a lot cheaper in terms of his contract, a lot more affordable. I'm not a fan of Jalen Green, man. Like to be honest with you, I look at Jalen Green like he's Jordan Clarkson. To be completely honest with you, I don't look at him as a star. I don't. I just don't see it. He has the athleticism. He has that, but he just looks like Jordan Clarkson to me. So what we oh, that's what you're asking. You're asking Kuminga or Jalen Green, not Draymond Green. Got you. Yeah, I mean I think Jalen Green he would probably serve more of a purpose on this roster than Kuminga because he's not playing behind Draymond. He will be competing with Moody and Pods and GP2 for minutes. Thing is, he's not guaranteed no 30 minutes either. Like he's fighting for his life. On like the Rockets played him as much as they did, probably out of just they don't want to like hurt his confidence or just show that they don't have faith in him. But I guarantee you, Ime, there's moments, and he does do it where he wants to bench Jalen Green more than he has. When he's not, when he doesn't have it offensively, he's not really doing much else. Like there's scenarios where Pods is probably more useful on the court. There's scenarios where, yeah, I don't think I can go there with Moody. Yeah, I mean, if Moody's a better defender, there's situations where Moody can be more useful on the court. Like if Jalen Green's shot isn't going, he kind of just disappears. Like he doesn't try to look for his aggressiveness. He kind of just disappears, man. He's nowhere to be found, and then he's not doing anything else really to help out the team. So, JK for Jalen Green is a lateral move. Yeah, I think so. I don't really see Jalen Green off the bench as like the Jordan Poole would be great, but Jalen Green is getting paid a lot of money. So you can't even do JK for Jalen Green like one for one because Jalen Green already has his big contract. He's already getting paid like 30 plus million. Like I'm not paying Jalen Green 30 plus million to be like my bench player. It's not happening. Give me Kobe White Excuse me. Give me Kobe White. I'm good with that. I would trade Kuminga for Kobe White. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'll do that trade in a heartbeat. But the Bulls wouldn't do that. They would ask for more. They would ask for. They would probably ask for JK and Pods. Like the Bulls are terrible. The Bulls are hard to do business with because they just over evaluate their players. Like they're holding on to Vucevic for dear life right now, trying to get like a first round, pick out of him. It's like, bro, no one's giving you a first round pick for Vucevic. It's not happening. The dude's like 35 years old. Like he's like you're not getting a first round pick. They held on to Zach LaVine way longer than they should have. They held on to DeMar DeRozan. They just don't want to. They don't like trading their own players, man. It's hard doing business with the Bulls. Resign Melton. Yeah, I'm all for resigning Melton. Hopefully the Warriors can get him on a discount because of his. I mean, it's unfortunate for him with the injury, but that might play in the Warriors' favor in terms of negotiating because it might not be as much competition to sign him to like a lucrative contract if he's coming off a second surgery. First, when we initially signed Melton, he was coming off a back surgery, or I don't know if it's a back surgery, but it was just a back injury. So now he's coming off an ACL. So yeah, he's gonna have to sign a prove it deal. I don't know if that prove it deal is gonna be the vet's minimum. I'm not sure. It just depends on his market around the league, how other teams view him coming off an ACL. But if his offers on the table is only like vet minimum prove it deals, I I mean, I don't know how he's gonna take being traded away by the Warriors. He might take offense. He might have taken offense to that and be like, "F y'all, I ain't coming back," or he might have just looked at it like, "Look, it is what it is, man. Like I couldn't play. They're a team that's trying to win a championship. They did what they had to do. I couldn't play anyways. It is what it is." Obviously, you would hope he had that mindset and he'd be open to coming back because he was a good fit. Like the 3 games he played, the 3 or was it 6 games he played, he was a good fit next to Steph, especially. He's a guy that could dribble, pass, shoot, good point of attack defender. He was really solid. Uh, Need a player like Quickly or Melton. Yeah, you're not getting Quickly. You're not getting Quickly. Another thing with that is you gotta be careful with like these smaller guards that feel they're entitled to playing time. Like a dude like Quickly, you're probably not gonna be able to close games with him next to Steph defensively all the time. There's gonna be games where you want to go to like a like more defensive versatility lineups and not have him on a court. How is guys like Quickly, like those type of archetype of players, how are they gonna feel about not closing? You know, and especially these dudes are getting paid money already, bro. They already got their contracts. I'm not trying to deal with no type of drama, bro. No dudes that just. I just want dudes that just want to win, man. I'm down for getting Melton back, and yeah, the Warriors definitely need to add a shot creator. They need to add a shot creator, and they need to add another big that has some capability to do something offensively, whether it be via 3-point shooting or finishing at the rim. They need a big next season that can contribute offensively, that can make teams pay, that can be a play finisher, that can do like the Warriors. Two players that I want the Warriors to get, two archetype of players. A dude like Nas Reed, it's a stretch big. He's 6'10". He could play the power forward or center. He could shoot. He could put the ball on the floor, attack a closeout, get to the rim. He could finish. He could dunk on you. He's a good player, good offensive player. He'll be great on the Warriors. Another archetype I would want is a dude like Daniel Gafford, who's basically like JaVale McGee, essentially. Daniel Gafford is basically upgraded TJD without the pass and feel. He's more so just strictly a play finisher. But he's a legit 7-footer. Or is he like 6'11", 6'10", something like that. But he's a big dude. He's an elite play finisher in terms of just catch the ball, dunk the ball. Catch the ball, finish a tough layup. He's good at that. He's also a pretty okay rim protector, blocking shots. He's basically an upgraded TJD. So, dude, like, if the Warriors can get an archetype like Nas Reed or like a Daniel Gafford, that will go a long way. In terms of a shot creator, a dude like Kobe White would be amazing. A dude like Yeah, I do like Kobe White. I mean, obviously, a player like Jordan Poole. We're missing Jordan Poole. This series especially, you can see they're missing a Jordan Poole like shot creator. It's just the dry spells at times when Steph isn't hitting shots is just so obvious that they need another shot creator, another guard that could do something. Gafford can't catch, read, and pass. Yeah, I mean, he would be like, that's why I compared him to like JaVale McGee. He would just be an upgraded TJD. He's not going to be starting. He'll come off the bench. You could play him in certain lineups. I wouldn't, he's not no savior, but he would just be an upgrade on TJD basically. Yeah, Kobe White's only making 12 mil a year. Would they give Kobe for pods and maybe one pick? That's the thing, man. The Bulls are hard to do business with, bro. They overvalue their players. They're gonna ask for pods and Kuminga and a pick. Like that's just how the Bulls operate, man. They're an unserious franchise in terms of like negotiating, bro. I honestly, like, Kobe White's a dream scenario. He's only making 12 mil a year, but negotiating with the Bulls, you're not gonna get far. They're gonna ask for everything. But yeah, man. Uh, I'm probably gonna call it soon. But I appreciate y'all for showing love. I appreciate y'all for coming through. That's gonna do it for this live show. If you haven't already, like the video. It makes a huge difference, man. It means a lot to me. And I just want to thank y'all for spending y'all time, y'all Sunday night, hanging out with me for an hour. You know what I'm saying? So much love, much appreciated, y'all. Thanks for coming through. I'll catch you on the next one.